Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to attempt to recreate the yogurt body peel by Nectar Bath Treats. I really love this scrub because of its unique creamy yogurty texture that's different than most body scrubs. The best way to describe this is it feels like a body yogurt but maybe slightly thicker with little teeny tiny exfoliating bits in it. The exfoliation is so mild, and personally I think it would even be good for the face. So if you've been looking for a gentle and creamy exfoliating scrub, then this would be perfect for you. So here is the exact product I'll be recreating. I am going to dupe the fruit smoothie yogurt peel. They have 4 different scents to choose from, and here is the ingredient list. Now I do not have the jojoba esters, but I do plan on purchasing some of that, so if you want to see me attempt this again with that ingredient, let me know. I also don't have any strawberry powder, so I won't be using that either. Basically, I'm just taking a guess on how much of each ingredient to use. Also, I mispronounce pumice throughout this entire video. Yeah, I'm not gonna redo with the audio though, so you guys are just gonna have to deal with that. Sorry. So let's see how my first attempt goes. We're gonna start with phase A. You need a heat-safe container, and I'm just adding in 266 grams of distilled water. We're making a 400 gram batch. And then you wanna grab a digital scale. Place your beaker on the scale. Take note of how much everything weighs, including the beaker and the water, because we're going to heat this up and some of it is going to evaporate, so we'll need to replace that later. Now moving on to phase B, these are all the oil-soluble ingredients. 16 grams of emulsifying wax NF. This will blend the oil and water together and it will thicken. 4 grams of cetyl alcohol. This is an emollient and it will help thicken. Stearic acid. Same exact thing, it will help thicken, it's an emollient. And then 32 grams of shea butter. This is an emollient. And yeah, it will help thicken just a little bit as well. 28 grams of coconut oil, and it's an emollient. And again, it will add a little bit of thickness to this because coconut oil is a solid in like 79 degrees or lower. I can't remember exactly the temperature. Anyways, cover both of your beakers with some foil, and then we're going to create a water bath. If you don't know how to do this, you just take a pan, fill it with like a little bit of water, and then place it on your stovetop on like medium, high heat, medium heat, I don't know. You just don't want it to be like a roaring boil. And then place both of your beakers in. And you don't want it to boil because you don't want the water to like boil up and get into your beakers, but they're also covered. But also we don't want water splashing everywhere. So medium heat is normally best. And then let it heat until everything in phase B is melted and they're around the same temperature. So remove phase A and weigh it, because remember, some of the water is going to evaporate. Normally it's like 1 gram or less, so just add that back in. And then you can remove your phase B and pour phase A into B. This is how you create an emulsion. And then grab an immersion blender. This is best to use to make sure the emulsion is stable. You don't want to just use like a hand mixer. And then you just mix it for a little bit. Like just give it a few pulses, and then you're going to let it sit, and you can come back periodically and mix it until it cools to around 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And once it's around 100 degrees Fahrenheit, you can add in your coloring if you want. I'm using these water-soluble liquid dyes from elementsbathandbody.com. You can also get them on wholesalesupplyesplus.com. And I'm trying to match the color. Mine is like way brighter pink here, and I'm fine with that, so whatever, we'll move on. So I'm going to add in 2 grams of Liquid Dermal Plus. This is my preservative. This one is fruit smoothie scented. So I figured this fresh fruit slice scent from naturesgarden.com would be perfect. It actually smelled very, very similar, and I love this fragrance. So I added in 4 grams of it and mixed it in. You can use whatever fragrance you want. They have arrowroot powder in their formula. I'm only going to add 4 grams. Again, I don't know how much to use. I don't know how much to use of any ingredient. I'm just taking a guess. And I'm not really sure what it does in here. Maybe either thickens it or helps eliminate some of the oiliness. I don't really know. And then I'm going to add in 10% pumice powder. So I'm using 40 grams of it. And I wasn't really sure, again, how much of this to use. And literally after I mixed it in, it turned like my product like brownish. It kind of looks like a weird purple gray on camera. I don't know. Actually, it looks like that in person too. But yeah, I tried to add more coloring and it didn't really change in color. It just kind of looked more and more purple over time. But anyway, so I kind of gave up on coloring it and I covered it. And yeah, I covered it and let it sit overnight. So here we are the next day. It has thickened up a bit. Normally that's what happens with emulsions. They'll thicken more the next day. So I want to point this out. On the left, we have pumice powder. If you check this out, like look at it. It literally is like a powder. And this is what we added in ours. And they had pumice powder in their ingredient list as well. but I don't know how much they used. So I don't think they're using that much of it because it didn't turn their product brown unless they have like some other kind of coloring technique they're using. I don't know. But over here, this is called bamboo stem powder. I've used this before in like my jelly scrub formulas, and I really love this stuff. And I think this would actually be way better. Oh, I also used it in my glycolic acid scrub with pumice, which this product I made on Patreon and was actually inspired by these yogurt body peels, but it also has a chemical exfoliant in it as well. And I just did whatever formula I wanted. I wasn't trying to follow their ingredient list. But I think this bamboo stem powder would be better to use. It won't change the color, and it will give the same type of exfoliation that theirs has, because theirs actually feels a little more abrasive than the pumice powder. So I think that strawberry powder maybe might be their exfoliant that they're using. I don't know. I've never tried strawberry powder in products, so let me know what you think. Also, I just want to point out how they used to sell this with a metal cap, and mine rusted, but now they have a plastic cap, so good for them for upgrading when things didn't work out. And if you notice, mine is pretty fluid, but it did end up thickening the next day, but I didn't realize it would end up thickening even more because I already let it sit for a day. I figured it was done. So right here, I was like, oh, look how liquidy it is. And look how much thicker theirs is. Theirs is like very creamy and fluffy. Like, I absolutely love this scrub. I'm not just saying this, like I really like it. I think theirs is a lot better than mine. So here is how mine is. It's like a lot more fluid, basically maybe like body milk consistency. I don't really know. But it did end up thickening up. So after it sat for another day or so, I noticed it was basically almost the same exact viscosity as theirs, maybe just a hair thinner. But like, look, see when you stick your finger in, like it doesn't like all go drooping back. It's thick enough to like keep a little bit of a form and body. I don't know what I'm saying. I hope you guys understand me trying to explain this. But theirs still has more exfoliation than mine, because I'm only using pumice, but that strawberry powder must be more abrasive than pumice. So add in some bamboo stem powder and you'll get a bit more exfoliation, unless you really like that like very mild powder like exfoliation. That's all up to you. You can also use jojoba pearls or jojoba beads. That would be a good alternative as well. But yeah, overall I really like their scrub, and I'm so happy that mine ended up thickening up more. The only thing I would really change about mine is I wish it had just slight more exfoliation, and adding in some bamboo stem powder would totally solve that issue. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below.
I'm stuck in the motions. I've been consumed by the wrath of time, like I'm shattered in this life. It's still the path that I've chosen, because I've had a vision. Now I'm on a mission to find myself with music and find someone to listen.